This is the Bar Stewards Enquiry.
Right? You're talking absolute rubbish. Absolute rubbish.
In what way?
You were an underachiever in life. I saved your bacon one time. You were gone.
You handled that well. I couldn't save you. But you did the right thing.
But that's why you don't know anything about racing, John.
I didn't say I do.
Right?
I'm saying that...
What have you contributed to racing? You're one of these take-out merchants. Take out all you can.
Good evening. Welcome to the Bar Stewards Enquiry Weekend Podcast. Yes, this is the best tipping show in the land. We're hitting about 39% on the profit and loss for the season because we know what we're doing. Well, sort of. Joining me tonight for this fantastic show of slop on the flat, if we get off, Doncaster inspected, of course, in the morning at 7:30, is Andy Richmond.
Good evening.
Good evening. Nev Ender, good evening.
Good evening.
The return of the Nev. Yes, you love Nev. You love Nev from last year. And John Leng also joining me. You're excited, John, aren't you, now the jumps is getting more profile?
Right.
Right. Anyway, John, don't worry. We've got the Breeders' Cup special to do next week. So we're back.
Yes.
We're back to some yeehaw.
Best chemist wins.
Bob Baffert drug-induced race. Yeah. So who's got the best carrots? Right, anyway, on to tonight's show. Then this is the best bets round where if you're a regular listener, you'll know what's coming. If you're not, and you're a first-time listener, we go 1, 2, and 3 points. We go round the rounds, and hopefully we will give you our best selections this weekend. Andy Richmond, I'm going to start off with you, please.
Oh, yeah? Rightio. Right. Well, we're not going tomorrow. We're going Sunday because Sunday, isn't it?
Yes.
So, and the... won't surprise you that I'm off to the Old Rowan Chase.
Yeah.
And I just think, when I first looked at the prices, I was amazed at what price this horse was. And I've just got to look him up again quickly here now, if you just bear with me slightly. And, no one's thieved the price yet, although there are only two firms pricing up. But Tommy's Oscar, how the hell this horse is 9-1 with Entain. Well, it's with one half of Entain because... Corals have got it at 9s and Ladbrokes have got it at 7-2. 8s with Hills, so we can argue about the price. We'll get the two rule books out. But I was impressed. But just looking at the horses in front of it in the betting, my Drogo, they're not going to want to knock the nuts out of this first time out. Surely, it's been off absolutely ages. Do your job. You're relying on it coming back to a little bit of form for the stable. Well, the sort of relative stable change. Hitman, I don't think Nicholls' horses are quite there yet, and he's probably aiming that more down at Exeter. Al Dancer, I'm amazed I haven't run that back in the Grand Sefton again, although the stable are in decent form at the moment. That's all right, Gino. I just think they've got other targets for this, and Tommy's Oscar, this seems to me the perfect target for him. He won very well last time out. I know it was over 2 miles 1 at Kelso, but it's a fairly stiff old 2-1 that. The horse travels like the wrath of God. The stable have got previous in this with a couple of horses. He's almost a replacement for that. One of my old favourites, Nutswell, for the stable. They've started off, I know it's only a small stable, Anne Hamilton, but they've started off the stable really well. I say tanked round last time out, beat Cedar Hill, who's a good yardstick. Gold de Bois is not a bad horse round there either. I just think this is the obvious place for him to come. I just think he's overpriced. It might turn out to be a value loser. But he did smash up Boot Hill in the Lightning Novices Chase last season by about 5.5 lengths. I think he'll get a pace to run out here. It's just a question if he gets home. But at 9-1, at worst, I think you'll be able to trade him. So a point on Tommy's Oscar, please.
Yeah, a point on Tommy's Oscar. 17-2 is the Fairness in Football 2 rule books for Andy's price, which is Unibet and Ladbrokes. Good selection, Andy, there. Tommy's Oscar. Love the stable. Love Anne Hamilton. So fingers crossed for your choice in the Old Roan. Nev, coming to you.
My third best is we're going to Cheltenham for it's a hard handicap. It's 2:25 tomorrow. And they've had a lot of rain today. And I'm assuming that although it's officially described as good, it's going to be on the slower side. I'd be surprised if it wasn't soft. And it's a horse that he's only had 15 runs in his whole career. And the horse that I'm alluding to is under supervision, who runs well fresh. He runs off a mark of 135, which is probably as high as he's ever been. I did see he was off 136 once last year. But he was only limited to 5 runs last season. His first run was probably his best one when he finished third over the track, over the 3 mile 2 furlong track at Cheltenham, and he got impeded and got messed around and was only beaten 5 and a bit lengths by Evers Oscar. After that, he wasn't at his best, although he did run a good second in the Grimthorpe, I think it was. It was the Grimthorpe at Doncaster off 132. The stable couldn't be in better form. All their horses are running well. Even the ones with little chance are performing really well. And I'm not saying he's a good thing, but I think he will be a value bet, and he's still open to improvement. So 135, all right, he's not chucked in, but there's nothing chucked in this race. And there's 1 or 2 horses I like. Kinondo Quertu of Sam England's and Twig of Ben Pauling's. They've been getting themselves badly handicapped over the summer, and you know, I'm going to go with under supervision as my third best bet, purely for the value. Because I do still think he's open to some improvement.
Good stuff. Yeah, really like this one. 15-2 is available with Bet Victor and Sky Bet, but I'm going to give you 8-1 with Paddy Power because Betfair's 9-1, but Paddy Power are 8s. So second best price is, I think, very fair. So 8-1, Nev.
Be 5-1 if John had picked it.
Yeah, I know, poor John.
I'm sticking up for you, John.
I've hit him hard this year, the poor lad. Anyway, I'll come to you now, John. You can give me your third best bet, please.
I'm past caring, Anna. I'm going to Cheltenham, actually.
Ooh.
Third best. In the 115.
Yep.
Now, I think there's going to be a bit of a burn up on the front end here. And given the conditions as they seem to play out today, I think this is going to be quite a test for some of these. And I'm plumping with the Dasher Conway, who comes here as one of very, very few who is hard fit and with very little weight on his back as well, which I think won't be a hindrance in the conditions or in the context of this race. The last run gave every encouragement that he's in good order. The time before, when he fell, I thought he was a little bit unsafe. You never let falls put you off as a company Cheltenham. You think it's race just to jump around there, but I think he'll be perfectly all right. He races reasonably handy, but I think the big plus is the fitness angle, and I think he'll be staying on when quite a few of these are gasping a bit in the conditions. The Jellydale horse is going to go like back out the well. I think Guy likes to go up there, and 1 or 2 others. As I said, I think this will just drop right for him. So I'm going half a point each way, the Dasher Conway.
Half a point each way, the Dasher Conway. I'm surprised at you, John, going the old each way angle. I thought you'd be on the nut for this one.
Yeah.
You
Softly catchy monkey.
did say this to me last year, that you thought that this horse was a shit house last year in a finish.
If he bottles it, am I right, Anna?
You get 4 places and you get 12-1 generally available. So
I think he might just drop in his lap this. He might not decline, but
yeah,
take a chance.
Fingers crossed, mate. Right, going on to my bet. It's in the 245 at Doncaster. It's the only bet I'm putting out at Doncaster in case it is on. But I think Ballymount Boy will go off a very short price favourite in the 245 race there, the Prospect Stakes listed race. This horse ran Van Dijk to a length on soft ground. I think that's his requirement, is soft ground. That's why they took him up to Hamilton, places like that. And he still ran well when he was second at York. It's the ground that beat him. He just doesn't go on really quick ground. But that showed his class, the fact he could finish second. So a bog won't suit half of these idiot, and it will suit him down to the ground. So I think you're going to see probably 6-4, 11-8 on your menu tomorrow if this goes ahead. And the 9-4 right now is worth taking and smashing into because it will not go off at 9-4.
You got the feet this horse, haven't you?
Yeah, absolutely. I like the booking of the Doyler at Doncaster.
Yeah.
It's a good move. Nothing not to like. Solid as you like, and 1 point win, 9-4, generally available. Right, round 2, John. I'm going to swing it round back to you straight away.
Well, you better get your asthmatic arse ready now. The 2 pointer in Ballymount Bay in Doncaster race, based on foot form, really.
Yes.
He's got feet like dinner plates. He loves soft ground. I mean, Lee's already alluded to the good run on conditions he didn't like in the Acom. I'm not absolutely convinced Esquire's form is anywhere near that sort of level.
No.
I mean, they're dropping back in ship with Esquire, but I don't think that was the problem last time. I think it was just beaten by below pure sang, really. And I didn't think that was a big performance or anything like that. I'm just pretty confident this will win. 2 points win.
Absolutely. You'll not see 9-4 come post time if this goes ahead. I guarantee it. And if you do, I'll be skinned because if it gets beat, because I'll be having the lot on. So good stuff, John. A klaxon. We're already at a klaxon. I like it. Who shall I come to next? Andy, I'll come to you next.
I'm going to be boring. Very boring. 3:35 Cheltenham. Half the runners are Irish, aren't they? But there's only one that stands out for me, and the stable's in terrific form. Gavin Cromwell's yard. Antrim
Carrots.
Coast. Yeah. Lots of carrots. Don't know. They might be on nuts and hay as well. Might be that full Monty. Might be everything.
Yeah.
But he was impressive last time out. I'd be a little bit worried about the ground, but I just think they might get away with it. And I don't really think there's anything else in here to touch him. Butch, possibly. Lisnamort lads, I like the McConnell horses at Cheltenham, especially at non-festival races, but stable's not in the greatest of form. I just thought he just stood out, really. It just looks very, very strong form. So I'm going to go 2 points win Antrim Coast.
Lovely. Even money generally available for the Carrots team.
Not particularly exciting, but I just thought we looked.
No, but still, look, it doesn't matter. Sometimes people always said I get lots of things said to me on Twitter and privately. Some of it not so nice.
You're not the only one.
Like when you tip a short prize, it's as if like, oh well, anyone can tip them. Listen, you know, even money. If you had 10,000 spins on a roulette wheel at red and black, you can expect a losing run of around 30. That's even money. So anyone that thinks it's easy tipping short prices and making money, it's not. Believe me, I've done this for years and I know firsthand it isn't. That's why people like better prices, because it scares people going in too short. But it doesn't scare me, Andy. If the reasoning's right, and it should be odds on in your opinion.
I think it should be odds on. Is where I'm coming from. Yeah.
It's a good bet then. That's it. That's what it's all about. It's all about price. We've got a clash here because the 115, John's tipped the Dash of Conway, and my 2-pointer is going on before midnight in the same race from the Fergal O'Brien yard. Mr. Ben Sutton in the saddle. It was clearly a float up last time at Chepstow, probably to get the horse just cherry ripe. You could see it's been laid out for this. It's become very well handicapped now. You look.
Good pilot, this lad as well.
He is. He's a very good pilot.
I've
for
mentioned him
7.
a few times. Yeah,
you have.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of money for him, which is why I'm going to go Betfair SP on this one, because I always think, you know, there's usually a balancing act with this because it's quite a competitive race, and I don't expect him to be much shorter than what he is now at 5-1. So I'm going to go Betfair SP on before midnight. Like I say, he's very well handicapped now from a very good yard, decent form. Fergal. This is his time of year, catching people out when their horses aren't fit. I believe that he will go very close under conditions tomorrow. So before midnight for me, 2 points win at Betfair SP. Right, finish the round.
I didn't want to go for one on Sunday, but one of my favourite handicappers, even though he's got FP6F next to his name, runs, and I'm not going to miss him because I do think he's going to win one of these days. And he's got himself so well handicapped. Enrillo is one of 2 runners in the race, trained by Paul Nicholls in the Desert Orchid Silver Cup at 3:29. And their whole season last year seemed to...
Sorry, no, that's on Sunday, yeah?
Sunday at Wincanton. Yeah. And they seem to have the whole season targeted around the 365 chase at Sandown. only gave him a handful of runs, and I remember reading that Paul Nicholls said that each run was readying him for that, and he ended up falling early on at Sandown. But as a consequence to his runs last season, he's got himself extremely well handicapped, and I just can't forget the time when he won the Bet 365 a couple of years ago when he got disqualified, and that was off 143, and he absolutely doddled up that day. They've put the one of the stable conditionals on Angus Chelida, who claims 5, but he did ride him last season in the Racing Post Chase, or one of the Coral Trophy. It used to be the Racing Post Chase, I think it was, at Kempton, and he is a very good jumper. It's just that he's just been unlucky, and I can't believe they're going to plan the whole season again around one race. So, in the hope that the ground doesn't get too soft, because I don't think he wants it soft, this horse, and Wincanton seldom gets that soft. Of 137 in a race for a £24,000 race, I don't think it's that competitive. I think you can strike a line through at least 2 or 3 of them. I'm going to take a chance on Enrillo. I have absolutely no idea which price he is. It might even be the stable second string with Bryony Frost on switch hitter, but Enrillo for me is my number 2 bet over the weekend.
Okay, would you like a fair price or a Betfair SP, Nev?
What we're looking at is there no early prices?
There's no early prices on the race.
I shall take whatever the best odds guaranteed. Don't all bookmakers do that now?
I love Nev on this show. It's fantastic. Nev always says things like, "What price should he be, this horse?"
Just give him 20 pounds, like.
I'll take.
I think Nev's after.
I'll take 20s, and then if it's any bigger,
Yeah.
well, I'll accept that I've only got 20s.
Right, we'll sort a fair price out for Nev
I'll have SP.
on that one. Nev, question for you here. Angus Chelida, who is a very good conditional claiming 5, in my opinion, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think the Nicholls camp like chain him in the cellar? Because he's been riding since 2016, and the lad's not broke. I think he's had more than 200 rides. He's, what are they doing with him? He comes out about 4 times, well, not 4 times a year, you know what I mean? But he doesn't seem to get the opportunities, does he? As if to say, you're not riding for anyone else, we want your claim.
I think he was an amateur, and then he went conditional. Then he went back to amateur, and he seems to be back as a conditional now. But he's probably struggling with his weight. He doesn't seem to ride many lightweights, does he? That's off the top of my head. I haven't looked.
So he's a big bastard then. He gets stuck in, but the whip rules might have affected him. I don't know, but we'll see. Good old Angus. Anyway, nice to see Angus back from the Nicholls cellar. Enrillo for Nev on the Sunday, the Sabbath, for the Desert Orchid Silver Cup at Wincanton. Good stuff, Nev. Right, that's the 2-point round done. We're now on to max bet round. I'm going to kick us off. It's a second Klaxon, chaps. I'm loving this Klaxon from me and John. That's a Klaxon from me and Nev. Under supervision in the 225 at Cheltenham is my best bet of the weekend. And I am quite astonished at the price, actually. When I saw this was entered, I'm thinking, this is going to be one of the market leaders. Twisters has got his yard in absolutely outstanding form. Adam Norman has previously said when he's seen this horse in the paddock, this is just a superb specimen of a chaser. And he's always liked it. I'm amazed last season it didn't get its act together. But if you look, the Doncaster run in the Grimthorpe, when it was second to Marauder, 10 back to Windsor Avenue, right? Marauder went on and finished second to Kitty's Light in the Whitbread. This is very strong form. And I backed under supervision that day. Of course I did, because I got chinned 10 back to the third as usual. But this is really high-class form, and I'm amazed this horse hasn't reached the heights of beyond 135 yet. I think he's capable of so much better. And with the yard in brilliant form, I think the 8-1 that I've given Nev for 3 points win is certainly playable, and very playable, in fact. And that's where I'm going for my nap. So the asthmatic horse comes out again for the second time. Love it. Who shall I go to next? Nev, I'll come to you.
I'm going to go for Cheltenham for the 410 race, the Novices Chase. There are only 4 of them, but it is a belt of a race. And favourite Flooring Porter, I'm not sure he's a chaser. He's not overly big. I think this is an afterthought that they're going chasing with him. And he's, at the moment, I've noticed that he's going to be a potential odds-on chance. Now, if you think back, first of all, I'm taking him on, by the way. Let me just get that out of the way. If you think back to how many horses that win the Stayers Hurdle go on to be successful over fences, you could probably count on not even on half a hand how many. I've been looking through, and I can only see Thistlecrack, which was 7 years ago, becoming 8 years, and My Way to Solzan are the only two horses that have won a Stayers Hurdle and then gone on to win over fences, be successful over fences. The rest of them have all been either haven't gone chasing or they've just turned out to be not as good. And I'm not convinced Florian Porter is a chaser, and he's going to take out a massive chunk, maybe 55% of the market. So that gives you three to look from. I think Toss again has to give too much weight. His penalties give him just for me gives him a very stiff task off 11 stone 10. So we're down to two of the other two, which are both Tristan Davis, and Sam Tristan Davis has chosen We've All Been Caught, who gets £5 off Broadway Boy. And having read what comments Nigel Twiston Davis came out with last year about We've All Been Caught, saying this is as good a horse as he's ever had and has been waiting for fences, I'm going to go with him as my nap over the weekend, because I just feel as if there are too many question marks against the favourite. And in receipt of weight from his two of the rivals, I think he's of interest at around 7-2. That's my, and I'm going to back him as well. I'm going to have a good bet on him. I do fancy We've All Been Caught. He's a big horse, looks ready to go chasing, and he could be surprisingly good value.
Nev, you one of them days in the old days, you know, when the board marker was slow to change the price from 4s to 7-2. You were the one like 4-1. Thank you. You know? Right, because he's 16-5. But anyway, 3 1/5, not 3 1/2.
Right.
You're absolutely timeless, Nev. He's brilliant. I could just see you in your younger days, a young man, sprightly young man, doing the bookies and doing the shops, and you know the old board marker that's 72-year-old. That's like, you know, that's missing all price changes. You were waiting for them, weren't you? You were. You actually were.
The price, yeah. It's all about. Isn't gambling all about the price, though?
It is, of course it is. Absolutely. I find you timeless, as in that was the old days where everyone just tried it on just to get that extra half point or extra odd. It's always been the same, but this is what makes it so fun. So yeah, 16-5 for you. What I need to ask you about is Broadway Boy, one of my top horses to follow this season, and I'm disappointed they've placed him like this, where he's got to give £5 to the stablemate. And I don't think this is the best place in Nev. Would you agree?
Maybe it's because only 4 being declared that they decided to go with him. I don't know, but
yeah. I think he's a top prospect. I think he ends up in 150 himself. But I agree with you about We've All Been Caught. He is physically a fantastic beast.
He's won over fences in point to point, so it's not going to be all that new to him. I just think taking on Florian Porter, he's taking out a chunk of the market, and he doesn't look to me like a chaser. But
I love angles like this because obviously, like you say, it's a carrots team. It might be popular with the short price punters, the blogger type of punter.
He's a dual Stayers Hurdle winner. He's going to be popular with everybody, isn't he?
Yeah, of course. It's good reason. I like it. But yeah, I was disappointed to see Broadway Boy declared. I was hoping that they might just use the mark a bit more before stepping into, I don't know.
He does look second string, though, on jockey bookings, doesn't he, Broadway Boy?
Yeah, well, obviously Sam knows the score, so that's where we're at. John, coming to you.
I wish I'd put this up as my 1 point bet, actually, because they got 2 points bigger. In front of me. I'm going to put the cat among the pigeons, I'm afraid, and I'm going in the 225 at Cheltenham.
Oh, again.
I'm siding with our old mate Dracula, who had such a good record with his Raiders last year. I don't think he had won at the frame until about March, did he? Am I right? This thing's quite interesting, I think. I mean, it went to the Irish National after 4 runs over fences and was made favourite. off 138, and I think the fact that it was made favourite was quite significant, really. I mean, they know when they've got a decent horse there, and I think this is a decent horse, especially off a break. Won first time up on the 8th of October 2022 at Fairhouse, 2 mile 5, just got up on the line, looked as though it needed further. That probably what tied him up with the Irish national idea. Won the maiden hurdle off a 97-day break. They made a point of freshening the horse up for the Irish national. That plan didn't come off, obviously. It looks like they're at it again, The money's come for him. I think he's on a workable mark. I think there's definitely more to come from the horse. Originally, I was going to go 1.5 points each way. I'm going to stick with that, even though the prices got clobbered. Sorry.
Are you still each way then? 1.5 each way,
Yeah.
5 to 1 generally available. Four pegs, John?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, you can't have the 5 because it's only 4 and 9 to 2 with the 5 peg thing. Yep, yeah. 2 rule books, etc. I thought I'd get that one in. Nice one, JJ, with Am I Right? Taking on me and Nev. Me and Nev will win the day on that one. And
who doesn't love a Pertemps qualifier? Yeah, who doesn't love one of them? I don't know how many of the buggers there are. I don't know how many of the buggers there are this
Everybody
year.
trying to finish first.
You got to finish. Yeah, well, we'll look at the ones that finished fifth and sixth, and back them in something else next time out. But it looks a bit easier. This is the race that Shoot First won last year, wasn't it? With our friend Mr. Burns, who then protected his handicap and didn't run him afterwards, and then he couldn't run him because he got injured, didn't he? There's 5 Irish horses in this, and I've had my eye on one for quite some while now. And I was hoping he'd run ever since they gave the entries out. But I'm going to have a bit of split slate in here because there's another Irish one I fancy. There's 2 from the Gordon Elliott yard. Don't really fancy those. Willie sends one over. You can sort of half fancy it, but the 2 I like, well, the one I like the most is Bugs Moran from the Noel Mead yard. I'm convinced this horse should have won last time out when the winner got first run on him. And he didn't get beaten very particularly far. Listowel got beaten just under a length. The pace should suit him. You can bury him away here. Who's on it? Keith Donoghue rode the track very well today. He's on him. I think I definitely want 2 points on Bugs Moran. And the other interesting one is Moon over Clune for the underrated Matthew J. Smith.
Garrett.
Conditional riders have won this, claiming riders have won this the last 3 years. James Kelly Smith is back on, knows the horse very, very well. So the last 3 winners of the qualifier, 5, 7 and £3 respectively. I think Moon over Clune could be a little bit underrated. His form certainly stacks up as good enough to win a race like this. They're stepping him up in trip. I don't think he's out of place at all. I think he's overpriced. So 2 points win Bugs Moran and a point on Moon over Clune for the Irish to clean up in the old Pertemps qualifier.
Love it, Andy. What a way to finish. 13-2 for you. Bet365, Will Hills, Coral, Spoil Sports, Ladbrokes, 14 to 1 generally available for Moon over Clune. I like that. I like the case made. There we go. Let's hope that Andy's on the right side of the triers in the Pertemps qualifier.
yeah, the carrots.
Yeah, there we go. Right, coming on to the TV previews then. Tomorrow, we're going to start at Doncaster, actually. We're just going to look at the Pertemps for Futurity, the Kameko. Pertemps used to sponsor it.
It's not called Pertemps, isn't it?
Yeah.
So did the Racing Post and the Observer.
Yeah.
Wasn't it called the Observer Gold Cup in the first few
runs? John, what was the old name?
It was the William Hill Futurity, wasn't it?
That was it, back in the day, the William Hill Futurity.
Back in the heyday.
Yes, right. So we'll just look at this because I don't see the point. It's probably not going to be on, but we don't know. It might be. Who knows? So if it's going to run, it's going to be running in terrible ground. We kind of know that. John, I'm coming to you first in your idea of the potential winner in the soup.
Bit boring, really. Ancient Wisdom with piston knee on chin banging.
Yes.
Piston action, really. Of the horses I've seen going into this, he would look far and away the most suited to barely raceable conditions. And I do tend to think the drift on Diego Velasquez is significant as well, because you wouldn't look at him and say he has an action that's crying out for this sort of thing. I think these Godolphin people who haven't had a Group 1 winner since the Lockinge are pretty desperate to put that right. And I think supplementing this one was a smart move.
I agree. 11-8. I think that's a bet. To be honest, I think I can't add anything to what you just said, other than that David Menuzier seems to have found his carrots. He's shitting when he's in France, and I said I'd give a special mention to Tree Trunk from Stoke, because Tree Trunk's been marking my card recently on certain things, and he gave me Tam Farner today that won the Group 3 in Chantilly. David Menuzier, of course, just shitting winners over there. So will Devil's Point step up to the mark, John, potentially?
If it's anything to do with Trade Trunk, I don't give a fuck, because he's obviously lost my phone number.
Where was the email?
Useless bastard.
Right, it was a late thing, and he just wants fame. He just wants fame, the lad. The lad's desperate for fame. Interesting fact about Tree Trunk. He went on the chase, and he was the sole player to get through. He got 15 on his own, which isn't bad, really, is it?
No, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Somebody won on their own the other day a couple of weeks ago.
I've seen one win for 70 on their own.
To be fair, if it was any good, he'd have gone on fucking Tipping Point, wouldn't he?
What an idiot. Fancy applying for Chase when you can apply for Tipping Point. You've got Thady sat at home watching Tipping Point saying, Dad, I'm clever. Look, I've got that right.
What are these things you're talking about?
Quiz shows, Nev. Daytime quiz shows.
You mentioned about television that they put shows on.
I've no idea what you're talking about now. You've gone off.
Yeah, there's probably a wooden box in the corner of your living room there, but it's called the television. They put shows on it.
I never watch it.
I think it right. So this is an insight into the life of trader Nev Ender.
I don't even know what it is.
Yeah, Nev, do you watch any TV at all?
No.
Not anything, as in any like sort of dramas, documentaries, or
No.
That's the dedication of the man. Nev has been a broadcaster. This is his history, a broadcaster. He's a professional punter. He trains horses. So Nev, you can see how dedicated Nev is to the game. It's full on dedication to the game. He doesn't miss anything. There you go. Send him a horse. That's your plug, Nev. You can send the cash.
As long as it's a good one.
Right. Yes. So, stop sending him shit. I'd say a name there. I'll not go there. Right. Andy Richmond and Nev, have you any view on the Futurity?
I could just do a Nick Davis here and go no.
Nick Davis is hilarious. No.
The jumps have
No
started.
message. The producer loves it because for editing purposes, it's great. No. And it's just like, move on. That's it. It's fantastic. No waffle. Nev?
There is a phone line which actually ties up both the two favourites. If you use Chief Little Rock, who finished runner-up to Deep One in the Beresford Stakes at the Curragh, and it does bring together the two favourites, because Diego Velasquez also collateral form line. It would give Diego Velasquez £2 or £3 in hand, but I was impressed by the way Ancient Wisdom won a fortnight ago. I thought he looked like a proper stayer who would want this ground. But I don't know. It's very hard to look beyond Aidan O'Brien in this particular race. But I am surprised the way the market's gone, because Diego Velasquez has drifted right out. So maybe the market speaks volumes on this occasion, but I wouldn't want to oppose the Aidan O'Brien horse, Diego Velasquez. But do Frankles want this ground? I don't know.
I think me and John are on something. I think if it goes ahead, the Godolphin horse is a serious punt for me at 11:08. I know it's obvious and it's not going to change anyone's life, but that's the way forward as I see it. Okay, let's move to Twig Hoppers. That's enough flat, given that it might not be on. 1:15 race, the William Hill Handicap Chase. Epic Value at William Hill Handicap Chase, said no one ever. Hadex Obo, 11-4. Nev used to work for Williams, didn't you? Commentating.
Yeah. Let's put them out like the best.
Dark days. Dark. Anyway, nothing more said on that. 1:15 race. Hanex de Zerbo, 11 to 4.5. I've tipped before midnight. John's tipped up the Dasher Conway for some shenanigans on the running. Will it bottle it? Won't it? He's like that, Johnny. He loves it. Will it? Won't it? Nevin, Andy, I would like your output on this race, please.
Well, I'm with you, Lee. I think before midnight is extremely well handicapped. If you went back a year and a half when it was trained by Sam Thomas, it's thrown in. There's no question about it. It used to be in Di Walter's colours. It's now in the father of the amateur riders who rides in colours now. They paid 32, I think it was 32,000 at Doncaster for him. So it wasn't it wasn't a giveaway by any means for a 10-year-old. I just am concerned. I know you were both saying you like Ben Sutton. I think it's a big ask for a £7 amateur to be taking on these pros. That is my only negative. I don't want to. I don't know enough about Ben Sutton, but I do know that he was riding in point to points and hunter chasers last season. But this is a very big ask for him. But I do think the horse is well handicapped. I don't think he'd want it too soft though, Lee.
Well, that's the other thing. The worry is that if it rides too slow, that would be a worry, which would bring Red Rookie into it if it did get very sloppy doppy. Andy?
I can allay Nev's fears on Ben. I take Nev's point on board about Ben Sutton, but I think this kid's really good.
Yeah.
I think he is. I think he'll more than hold his own against these. In fact, I'd probably rather have him on some of the people riding in this race, without mentioning any
Jamie
names.
Moore.
But there are, if you go back and look at a few of his, not even his winning rides last year, he's a pretty cool customer. There was one ride in particular, which I'm just trying to search for the name of the horse. I think it was Santos Blue. Last year, he rode particularly well. He's good at a hold-up horse. He's a good judge of pace. I'm surprised more people haven't cottoned onto him. I think the price has got a little bit short now, but he is But I can see the market for the why before midnight's been cottoned onto. I mean, if you think the Dasher Conway's a bit of a twicer, what about Guy? There's another one. If you get those two head and head up the running, it'll be a real after you, Claude.
Yeah. Thing is with Guy, right? I reckon. Do you know? They finally worked it out, Andy. Make the running, so it doesn't have to pass.
It could be that might work, but I still think the horse is a bit.
Oh yeah,
of
course. He's tricky. Yeah.
Red Rookie would certainly come into it. It wasn't a race I was overly keen on, I must admit. I think if you wanted to do anything, stick a couple of short lines in.
Oh yeah. A few lines for me and John.
Watch a bit of fun. I think is probably the answer to the race, because there could be some fun and games here, especially if they go off too quick. And there are one or two others that are not exactly, shall we say, the best in the division. Long term, I'd be interested to see how not long till May runs. Although the yard has been incredibly quiet, and it's a yard I really like as well, Laura Morgan's yard, because it ran off its tits last year at Cheltenham, didn't it? It was probably knackered its handicap mark. But it's an interesting race without getting too involved. But if I am going to do anything, I shall stick a few 1.81, 1.61, 1.41, and the jackpot 1.11 line, and hopefully get a bit of fun out of it, because there are one or two twices.
Yeah. Andy's made that race sound incredibly interesting. 150 Cheltenham is the Masterson Holdings hurdle. 11:08 Blue King Daru for Pumpkin. The Jelly Eel Gambling South Coast team have got Spirit Danu in at 2-1, and then it's like, well, we don't really care about the rest. So, Nev, I'm going to come to you. Have you any view on this?
I mean, Blue King Daru was very lightly raced last season, and I thought his second entry was excellent to what is potentially the future Greatwood winner punctuation. He's rated 138, which gives him, goodness knows what, at least £9 in hand of Spirit Danu and more ahead of the others. So if the handicapper's right and the handicapper knows more than I do, then Blue King Daru should win by pretty easily. I'm not convinced Spirit Danu is a 129 horse. He won some soft races last season, and when he won his last one, he did look well handicapped. I think he started at even money that day for his latest start, so he was clearly well handicapped. These 4-year-old races, they don't take a lot of winning, and if Blue King Daru is a genuine 138 horse, and he probably is because he did finish second in a handicap off 134, he's going to take the world of beating. But you want to take 11 to 10? Not really my prize, but I suspect he'll probably win easy.
Good stuff. John, you any view on this?
Yeah, who's Harry Cobden's agent?
I don't actually know off the top of my head.
Well, whoever he is, I bet he's looking over his shoulder. Yeah,
Right.
I agree with everyone, Blue King Daru.
I've not really much opinion on the race. I agree what Nev says, so I'm not going to.
This is normally a small field, this race, isn't it? Is this the race that was it last year? That horse that died, or was it the year before? That of Twiston Davis's that I like to move it would.
I like to move it.
It's generally you get like 4 or 5 runners, don't you, for it? But it's quite competitive. Well,
I like to move it. Won it 2 years ago. Pied Piper won it last year.
Yeah. Nichols won it with
And Gary Moore. And Gary Moore won it with in 2020 with Botox Has.
Yes. Kel Destan in 2019.
Tiger Roll won it in 2014.
There you go.
It's a good national trial, this.
Andy, your views on this?
It's not a race I really want to get involved with. I suppose the way that, I mean, it's a long shot, but you probably look at the, hope it all falls. Again, I think Spirit Danu is a little bit overrated in terms of this. So if I had to pick one out the front two, it would be Blue King Daru. And if I had to pick something, maybe just if you were looking for something to finish in the top 4 with the Twiston Davis yard in good form, Mr. Mackay for Porridge fans. No Godber and Norman Stanley Fletcher in this either, but he didn't win too badly. What was it last time out at Huntingdon? I mean, it wasn't a great race, but he did draw clear. I suppose you'd have a pot to him, but you don't have to have a bet every race, do you? So I think if I had a dog, I'd be taking it for a walk.
Indeed. Take the dog out.
I'll let it in.
I'll let it in.
Or let it in,
and get the patty out. Right, 225, 3 mile handicap chase. We've already said plenty on this in terms of am I right for John as his main bet, and our clack
smashed again now. This thing.
I know, and mine and Nev's clacks and bet under supervision. So this race is quite easy. I'm leaving it to you, Andy. Go for it.
Well, I was going to put one in this, and it would have been siding with John.
Oh, you fucker!
That's the nicest thing I've been called.
I know,
today.
yeah. I don't get called much better either. But,
yeah, that's the nicest thing I've been called today. That's because you've been. That's the sort of thing you're sharing.
You don't get that on Racing Only better, do they? They put a tip over it, you fucker.
No.
Kevin Blake doesn't say that to Vanessa Bin Man Ryle, does he?
No.
Yeah.
I'm not watching at the moment because Calvin's not on, so I don't watch it when Tony's not on.
John likes Tony as well. John's got a.
If Tony's not on, then I'm not watching it.
Yeah. John likes the thumb.
I still watch it.
Yeah, I like TC. He's a good bloke, I tell you. But I'm not watching it without TC on there. No chance.
He's a cunt. Anyway,
right. Back to this race. Lord Accord won it last year, didn't he?
He did.
He did. A bit too short for my taste now. Would have gone with Am I Right, who I think is a very interesting character with darling Rachel on, to call her a correct name. But I do appreciate your under supervision. I can see the case for that. He's a little bit overpriced, isn't he? Twig's a quirky old sort. Take on board Nev's comments about the summer. He got treated that race he won at Uttoxeter the last time out. Worked out quite well actually. Beat Canindo Cueto, who probably came from too far back that day. Twig's a bit of a quirky sort. You can't fault his chasing record though. It's five chases. He's won 4 of them, and the other one was a second, which I did think he dogged it in. If I had to have a bet in it, and I probably will follow you in with under supervision and Am I Right now. that'll be that job
You know
done.
what they should do?
Go on, John.
Forecast.
I'll leave them to Nick.
Yeah, I'm never lucky with forecast. Yeah,
I'm
Davis
not.
was brilliant the other week in the Suzanovic. Having forecast, Nev, he got the forecast in the Suzanovic. Incredible performance. We move on. Right, so that's a 225 covered. Andy's sort of
Done.
with John on Am I Right? But he's rescued himself by coming back to the good side of the force. You know, the Rebel Alliance, me and Nev. Twisted Davis's horse. Right, the 3 o'clock, the finale. And this is where we finished the show.
Do you think I'd gone to the dark side then?
Yeah.
Is that what you're calling John? John's the dark side, is he?
Absolutely. The dark, yeah, it's terrible, is John. Right,
I get the dark side of the fucking rowboat.
I'm still having nightmares about Cleveland
Yeah.
steamers.
You will do. Well, you've had one.
Yeah, Cleveland Steven. I mean, I famously named a racehorse Milwaukee Blizzard. You can Urban Dictionary that.
I'm not
Milwaukee
looking that up.
Blizzard, that's a good one. Yeah, that was trained by Grant Chewer. She finished third on her only start. And then
Bidder's looking it up as we speak.
Yeah.
I can only guess that's the sort of thing you don't want in your search history.
It got through though. Fanny Schmeller didn't. When I asked the BHA to name Fanny Schmeller,
No.
the famous Olympian German downhill skier, that failed. But
Muff Diver got through.
I mean, you can get some crackers through. I mean, you've just got to be a bit clever because you know.
Wear the fox hat.
Wear the fox hat. Yeah.
That got through.
Yeah, there's been some good ones. I did like Mary Hinge back in the day.
Billy Cecil's Mary Hinge.
It was very 80s and 70s, weren't it, Mary Hinge?
Have you been watching those dodgy films?
Yeah, Ron Jeremy. Good old Ron, he didn't need Viagra. Right, 3 o'clock Cheltenham is the old Pertemps network handicap hurdle. Andy's made some sterling cases here for Bugs Moran and the Matthew Smith trained Moon Over Clune. Neville, I'm coming to you for your expertise, genuine. As a national hunt racehorse trainer in general, I'm coming to your expertise on this.
I do like Hugo's new horse as a just the way he races. He's so genuine, and he just seems to be so relaxed. And he's usually the first off the bridle, but he's usually running on strong at the end. And I don't think we've seen the best of him yet. Off 132, he won quite a valuable-ish race at the Ayr Gold Cup. The Ayr Scottish National Meeting last year.
Yeah.
And as I said, I don't think we've seen the best of him. I think he is a horse you want to back in running because he will be one of the first to come off the bridle, but he does keep finding, and they tend to stay ahead of the handicapper. The other horse I thought was of interest, and maybe if it became too soft, it would go against him. But Bashful Boy ran an astonishing race in the Cesarewitch a couple of weeks ago. He finished fourth, and all right, you can't use the lines of the Shunter, who's 150 rated over hurdles, and Pied Piper, who's probably even higher than that over hurdles, were just in front of him. And he wasn't getting more than 13, maybe even less pounds than that off them. If you translated that to his hurdle mark, he'd be thrown in. But he seems to have found his niche now, does Bashful Boy, and maybe he can transfer that improvement from the flat to over hurdles. And I thought if he's like 20-1 and the ground didn't become too soft, he would be a big price to be interested in. But Hugo's new horse would be my main pick, and Bashful Boy is a little sort of outsider to just keep an eye on.
Good stuff. I like it. John, have you anything to add to Neville?
Not really, other than I was talking to somebody from Paddy Powers this afternoon, and apparently this Bugs Moran, the owner's based in America and is tied up for coming over for Cheltenham, and this is the one. It's for the Pertemps final. It gets qualified here, and he's all laid on to come over and everything, and so I couldn't go against Andy's pick, really.
Tipping itself there. The owner's flying over for this. Flying over. There you go. You get information like that on Bar Stewards. There you go. This is what it's all about. Little tidbits. Now and again, it'll sway your betting, I'm sure, in race by race. But I hope you've enjoyed the show. We have. And it's nice to have Nev back. Andy as well, because Andy's our better national hunt judges for sure. And me and John also get together and have our chinwag.
Just
Yeah.
before you go, Lee, what price are you going to give me on Frankie Dettori to go in the jungle?
I reckon it's going to be short, because I mean this is a fellow that likes money, and they will offer him some proper cash that racing certainly won't. Well, this stole won't offer the kind of cash that
No, they wouldn't.
that the old jungle boys will. But yeah, I think it's pretty odds on. I mean,
It's not short, and how he's
my
stood
other-
down while it's being filmed, isn't it?
exactly.
Yeah, true. See, that's what I thought the other day. And the other one would be Phil Taylor. There you go.
In his caravan.
I say, we money if it was
Caravan,
caravans
yeah.
instead of tents.
What about
Yeah.
that, eh? What about that as a reverse forecast for
Yeah, good
going
old
in the
Phil
jungle?
Taylor. Yeah, he loves his caravans rocking about in Port Vale. There we go. What a show. I like it as always.
Some of them little starlets coming home pregnant after that.
Yeah, old Phil loves a good old nine dart finish. On that note, I think that's enough. Me, Nev, Andy, John signing out. Bye for now.